I think the biggest thing for me in Restaurant Week is it gives everybody an opportunity to dine.
You're not going to get this anywhere else.
Taking a bite with some of the best in the restaurant biz. Welcome to Pocono Mountains Podcast, Season 4, Episode 3. I'm your host, Jim Hamill. We first shared with you a listen at some of the participating restaurants for Pocono Mountains Restaurant Week last week, which runs April 7th to April 12th. With signature dishes, deals, and special menus at lots of locations all throughout the region, it's the perfect opportunity to discover delicious dining locations, including the always special Settlers Inn in Hawley. And for a different sort of experience, the Crazy Country Club just down the street. There are plenty of others on that list. Head to PoconoMountains.com to see an entire list of restaurants and menus, as well as specials. More on that in a bit. The Poconos is a year-round destination for millions, with 2,400 square miles of mountains, forests, lakes, and rivers, with historic downtowns and iconic family resorts. It's a perfect getaway. You can always find out more on PoconoMountains.com or watch PTN, the Pocono Television Network, streaming live 24/7. Now, back to the episode. We recently had the very difficult task of sampling some of the menu items at the Settlers Inn in Hawley and Crazy Country Club, both participating in Taste of the Poconos, the restaurant week running April 7th through the 12th. Here's a bit from both locations recently when we visited. Enjoy. Hi, everyone. It's Jim Hamill with Pocono Mountains Podcast. We are sitting in the lovely Settlers Inn at Bingham Park in downtown Hawley. And to my right, your left, but of course on the podcast you can't quite see them, but it is for a Pocono Mountains Magazine episode about Restaurant Week and restaurants overall in the Pocono Mountains. I have Corporate Executive Chef James Kelly. Thanks for joining us. All-around good guy here, and he knows how to cook too, folks.
It's true. It's true. Rumor has it. Rumor
does have it, man. We wanted to dive into not just, the dishes that you make here, which we just watched you turn this lovely pasta dish into pasta alla vodka.
Yeah, exactly.
One of your favorites, right?
Yep.
And but also dive into overall what it is like to run these operations. You've got quite a few restaurants under the Settlers Hospitality name, all throughout the Pocono Mountains and beyond. But of course, too, dialing into what you guys have to offer for Restaurant Week, April 7th through the 12th.
Yeah.
That's a really unique time where people can get deals, discounts, and prefix menus like this one. This penne alla vodka is going at the dock at
Exactly. Very excited.
So
Restaurant Week.
You're excited for it.
Yeah.
What's it take to get everybody ready to go for something like that? Because it's out of the norm, right?
Yeah. I've got an extraordinarily talented chef team. They all do a great job. I got Chef Ron over at the dock created this menu for the dock. Chef James Klickner over at the brewery. I'm sure you know him, but we all really work together as a team, and it's a 1 + 1 = 3 kind of thing. We're on the same page. The guest gets a great experience. So
cool. So you just jammed this out back there. Why don't we start sampling some of this too?
Let's do that.
Yeah, man. Let's get into it. Is there some vino to go with this?
There is.
Ooh, what do you got for us?
It's a little early for me, Jim, but I'm going to let you enjoy. I'll take a little sip.
All right. Yeah, let's do that. Yeah.
Just don't tell my bosses. Let's block this, from them. So
anything for the job, folks. Ooh. All right.
I think with penne alla vodka, you can kind of do whatever you want. I'm not much of a wine pair when it comes to that, but
I'm with you.
What you like,
Well, so penne alla vodka, that's something that you like to do. You definitely went through your process in the kitchen.
Yeah.
But what about the people who sit down at the table and get to dine on the dishes you create? How much thought goes into what their palates are like and what their kind of appetites?
Yeah, a big thing for me is spice with people. Right. Some people don't like spicy food, some people do. Mm-hmm. So I'd prefer to kind of put it on the side or leave it out.
Okay.
So because you can always add spice in, you can't take it out. So that's a big thing for me.
Okay.
And there's a balance on a menu. You want some things that are a little more adventurous for maybe that specialty dinner, and you want some classics. Because people know the classics. So and it builds some trust with the chef, with the restaurant group, to showcase, who that person is and their style.
I gotcha. Well, cheers to that.
Delicious.
Mm-hmm.
I've been cooking pasta for a while.
Yeah.
Even though my name is James Ryan Kelly, it doesn't exude Italian food confidence per se.
Right.
But my chef who's doing this dish at the dock, Ronald O'Rourke, again, and not the most Italian name, but we both do love our pasta.
So pasta is one of the things people could find on those menus throughout the Settlers Hospitality Group locations for Restaurant Week. You've got Glass Wine Bar Kitchen.
Yep.
You've got this place, Runaway Train, and then the dock at Wampaupack. So a lot of different scenery, a lot of different things to pair things with, especially with the beers, the wines, and everything else.
But the beautiful thing is the price is the same. Right. So for a brunch over at Settlers and at Runaway Train, it's only $20.24.
Not bad
for a 3-course brunch. And then double that, $40.48 for our 3-course dinners across all 4 properties as well. So
I like that simplicity to this, and really it is what you would consider the slow time of the season.
Yeah.
In between the winter and the
betwixt.
Betwixt the craziness that it is here in the Poconos throughout the height of the summer season, right? Like once Memorial Day hits, you guys are full bore.
Yep.
What's that like for your staff? I mean, probably a little bit of a
right now. We always, try to stay a month or 2 ahead.
Right.
So in my opinion, for us, we are already at Memorial Day, kind of with our mentality, with our spring menus and stuff. Mm-hmm. But I think the biggest thing for me in Restaurant Week is it gives everybody an opportunity to dine. Some people, Settlers Inn may be financially a bit out of their budget. But wow. The 3-course brunch for $20 a person, that sounds great. It gives you a chance to try this, and then go, honey, let's go here for your birthday. Like it was extraordinary. Or, man, let's bring the kids to the brewery and have an afternoon. So I think it gives the opportunity to go out and dine at a lot of places. And personally, I'm excited to try all the other places that are within other companies.
We are very fortunate here in the Pocono Mountains to have a lot of great chefs, a lot of great cuisine. A lot of farm-to-table options, too. We've talked about that on Pocono Mountains Magazine and the podcast. What do you love about, this industry? You got into it pretty young, I'd assume.
Yeah. So the first kitchen I ever worked in was the Settlers Inn here.
Yeah.
In 2007. I was about 70 pounds lighter. I'm happy the podcast can't see that. But I learned a lot. And I love this area. There's a reason I came back from New York City.
Yep.
And it's a great company to work for. And that's the really cool thing. I got great bosses. Not many people can say that.
That is true.
And it's just always a challenge running restaurants, no matter where you go. And the challenge here isn't good food around. True. New York, you've got all that competition. Here, it's more of a teamwork environment. We want, the tourism to come. We want you to try out other restaurant groups. We want you to vacation here. So.
Yeah, and having grown up here, you're pretty proud of what these properties offer. They offer the hospitality. They offer that kind of escape that people would have from a very hectic lifestyle.
And there are a ton of my friends who have recently been like, well, when's a good time to visit? And I'm like, well, if you want to be with all the other New Yorkers, come by in June, July, August, but April's a great month. September's a great month, So I'm always trying to connect them with all of our properties to come and stay.
Right on, man. What do you hear from people then when they get to dive into a lot of the things that you like to create? Especially if you guys take a risk on something and want to really kind of set the bar high. What kind of, you have a lot of people with discerning palates around.
Yeah. For me, I think Glass is our most adventurous restaurant. Glass Wine Bar Kitchen. Yeah. Chef Tony Mara there is extraordinary. His knowledge of Asian cuisine is fantastic. And whenever he writes an Asian dish, I just say yes, because I'm not well versed with Asian cuisine. But even this Friday, we have our sushi night over there. Yeah. And it's awesome. There aren't a lot of places you're going to stroll into in the Poconos, that are doing really awesome sushi, Now, Italian is something you do see a lot. He does that as well.
Okay.
But there is something for everybody in the Poconos, and that's the really cool thing.
Yeah, we've got the beverage trail, of course, enjoying some vino right here. They've got a lot of wineries around, distilleries, and breweries. Of course, Runaway Train is one of those under the Settlers name, but you could pair a lot of different things with those experiences too. Does that kind of add a different element, do you think, to like what you guys can do at your properties, especially with that locally brewed beer.
Yeah, and I think the one thing that ties us all together isn't the cuisine. You know, the use of farm to table does do that, but we're all a little bit different when it comes to our restaurant group. So you know, the hospitality is there, but the cuisine, the ambiance, it may be a little different, you know?
Yeah.
So that's something I'm really proud of here.
That's awesome, man. What do you like to do when you're not working?
I like to sing karaoke.
I have heard you sing
Pretty
karaoke.
sure you've heard about that. So I have sang recently. I was just in New York City, you know?
Yeah.
I will say all 5 people didn't leave when they heard it.
That's
so
a pretty important quotient right there.
But no, that's something I love. And I get the opportunity to live with my brother and my parents now.
Nice. Yeah.
So I haven't spent a lot of time them building my chef career up, and it's a blast. We're trying to create a little poker night coming up. So, yeah.
And just to think, you know, I grew up with your brothers, a little older than you, but you know, you can make a career in hospitality in the food and beverage industry, and you're like the shining example of that in a lot of ways, and so are the staff. So this place doesn't function without people, you know, really getting into the industry and working their way through that career, right? There's a way, an upward career path here, isn't there?
There really is. You know, we're always expanding, you know, and there's always opportunities for growth. You know, I started out here as a line cook. You know, yes, I did leave for a little, but now I'm the corporate exec chef, you know, almost the highest ranking culinary person in the team, you know?
Yeah, man.
I couldn't do it without my team, obviously, and even my dishwashers all the way down. But we've promoted sous to execs since I've been here. We promoted line cooks to sous chefs. And for everybody who thinks it's going to take an expensive culinary degree, I didn't go to culinary school. I'm a self-taught chef.
Yeah.
You know, Grant Ginslinger helped me out. One of our old corporate chefs helped me out. But I've learned a lot along the way. So it's really a great opportunity to come into the kitchen and learn.
You learn by doing.
Yeah.
That's what you learn by, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's fantastic. Well, I mean, we also got on the menu for Restaurant Week, charcuterie board.
Yep, and Chef Tony created this. It's one of the signature items over at Glass, is their meat and cheese boards. So that is the first course for their dinner prefix. Couple meats, a couple local cheeses from Calkins.
Right.
And
Fantastic.
some nuts, some crackers, a little bit of jam. You'll be good.
And I'm in. Yeah, want a little bit of that?
I am a salami kind of guy.
Oh, me too.
Personally.
Yeah. I didn't turn down a good meat product like this at all.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure. Yeah, man, that's what, I mean, I get out with the wife and kids every once in a while. I feel like that's a really important thing, is to get them cultured, understand like what it's like to eat out at restaurants like this. So you like to see the people that you get to see from time to time, right? You build relationships.
Yeah, and my mother always says, your taste buds change every 7 years. So if you didn't like it, try it again. And when I was a kid growing up, usually you don't like what your parents don't like because they don't keep it in the house.
Exactly.
And I hated olives as a kid for the longest time. And I started eating them later on in life. I was like, these are amazing.
Yeah.
And it's crazy to say, my mother loves them now too. And she could not stand them. And I was like, it's because you always bought, you know, mediocre olives, and now you're buying the good ones. So that's something that's important too. It's where you eat and where you shop, and you know, the best thing is local. You know? Local.
Yeah. So that's exactly what I think Settlers Hospitality is all about, is being local. Yeah. You guys source a lot of things from local farms, a lot of the providers, Calkins. We've done a larger Pocono Perspectives out there at Highland Farm with Chris Barrett and the farmers there, because that is a locally grown and produced product. Yeah. You know, from the dairy industry that is seen in the New York City market and Philly market and other places too, but it's also created right here in the Pocono.
Yeah. We had, when I cooked in Pittsburgh, this was back in like 2012, we had Calkins Creamery cheese on the menu there, you know, and I was like, this is from Honesdale. That's where I grew up, you know? So that's awesome, you know, and it's all across the board, the meat, the local fish with Blooming Grove. Right. There's a lot of great opportunity here to use that local product.
That's fantastic. Well, we're in the spring season, just as we're recording this right now. It's vernal equinox tonight.
It is tonight, 11 p.m. I heard.
11:03. Yeah, we're going to switch over to where the sun is making its way back towards our part of this.
Exactly.
On this side of the equator, but also we want to give one last plug for Restaurant Week.
Yeah.
This podcast will air next week and lead up to that. Right. And then the Pocono Mountains Magazine segment will be on Sunday.
Fantastic.
Restaurant Week. So any last words of encouragement for people to say, hey, don't cook at home.
Don't cook at home. Test it out, check it out, and then it's a great opportunity to try some of those nicer, more expensive places.
Yeah.
It's a great opportunity really just to go out. $20 all in for a brunch is probably hard to find.
Yeah.
So come and check us out. Glass Wine Bar and Kitchen, the dock on Lake Wallenpaupack, Settlers Inn at Bingham Park, and Runaway Train Brewery in Holmesdale.
Well, I'll be at 1, if not 4 of those establishments. Restaurant Week, I can tell you that much.
That's good.
Corporate Executive Chef James Kelly with Settlers Hospitality. Cheers to you, man.
Cheers to you, brother.
And all you guys do. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Hi, everyone. It's Jim Hamill with Pocono Mountains Podcast, sitting bar side with Scott Burdo in the Crazy Country Club right in downtown Hawley. This is a very unique place that you must experience in person. Video, podcast don't do it justice. Scott, thanks for having us here. What brought you guys to Hawley? You're from Brooklyn, and this kind of place existed back in your dad's day.
Yeah.
What's it like?
Well, the way I got here is I made a wrong turn. And this was a friend of mine's restaurant. And I went to see him for dinner. And in the body of the conversation, he said, the building is for sale. And I really wasn't interested. But he said it comes with a liquor license. Then I perked up. I spoke to him, and I bought the building. Now, with the building, it came with a fully equipped restaurant, beautiful tables, nothing like you see here now. And I was interested in the liquor license. COVID hit, and I didn't know what to do with it. So I went to a bagel store. I went to Dunkin' Donuts in town, and I wanted to know if they wanted to make an express-style place in this spot. They were both interested, but they said, it's COVID. We don't have the help, and we can't help ourselves, and we can't help you. So in my home here in Lakefield, Pennsylvania, up there, I have a copy of this, which was my father's place in my basement. It's set up a little bit different. I have a jukebox, a cream machine, a game room, a pool table, a this or that. And I have a lot of people over all the time snoring off of me with free food, free drink, and a good time. So I'm sitting down there one time just looking and I said, wait a second. I'm going to take that idea and put it in this building. And that's what I did. And it's going to be 2 years now in May. And I'm very humbled that Hawley took me in because this is a very different type of operation. And it's more set for like the New York style of people. And I'm coming here. And again, I'm very humbled because we've gathered a lot of nice customers that are locals. The mayor is one of our best customers. Right. And it's really just a sweet town. And I hope I thrive here. And thank you all for taking me in.
Sure. And as we're speaking to each other right now in late March, early April's when we kick off Restaurant Week in the Pocono Mountains. You guys are participating, but it's like you're not casting yourselves as this fine dining experience. You can have those throughout the Poconos. This is more of an experiential thing. This is warm beer, lousy food, and a lot of razzing from the likes of you. And you do performances too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I basically, if you have a birthday or an anniversary, I have a bunch of set songs. And the people, like if a woman wants to razz on her husband or vice versa, they'll tell me and I'll put them in the set song. And most of the songs are way over the top. I could not do them on this cast over here, that's for sure. And it's an interactive restaurant. And Chelsea over there is very, very part of this operation. She's works the gags behind the bar. She's an excellent bartender, and she's got, fire.
Yeah.
And it's a pleasure to work with her.
So you love that part of it, though, right? Is that people come here, maybe unexpecting, but they walk away with like this, wow, this was quite the experience. it's a different dining experience than you find pretty much anywhere else on the map, is what you're saying.
Yeah, it's unique. A lot of people try to copy it. One of the people that worked for my father was the guy that opened Dick's Last Resort, and he took the whole idea from my father, and he pulled it off very successfully. But he doesn't operate like that. It's you have to be here to actually experience it. You can't even talk about it. Not that we're so good or so bad, but it is a very unique. You're not going to get this anywhere else.
It's true.
That's for sure.
And the chef just brought out some lovely dishes here for what's happening during restaurant week. But, you guys have like that bar menu, but tilted up a notch, you said?
Yeah.
Like it's the kind of stuff that you could definitely dive into with an adult beverage.
Yeah. Yeah, we won first place with these Asian wings. And they're a hit here, and we also have these dry rub wings that I brought up from Brooklyn that nobody has.
Yeah.
And it's really good. And, yeah, we're a step up from your normal bar food, and we're not quite like the Ridge or Settlers.
Sure.
But we don't advertise that.
Exactly, because it's something where I think, whether it's, husbands and wives or, friends or whoever might come in here, they could really kind of turn this into more than just like an experience where they're having it with each other. They're having it with all the patrons. They're having it with Chelsea and you and everybody else here, right?
Yes, everybody. We have like sing-alongs. We have silly string fights at times where we give all the customers cans, and they all, throw caution to the wind. I'm wearing a nice clothes, a shirt, shoes, and they blast, and everybody's having a good time. And that's my pleasure, watching people just have a good time, because every day is mundane, especially these days. It's work, it's sleep, it's work, it's sleep. And what I do love, and my father before me, is when people will come here with their folks and bring their kids, and I'm watching the parents and the children laugh together. To me, I swear, I did my job. That's where I'm at with that.
Fantastic. So it's hospitality, but you also give people a little bit of, of the razzing, right? Like you don't hold back, from what I understand.
I do not hold back. I am not politically correct. And no, I don't hold back. And if you want to get insulted, not that I'm so good,
right,
but I do it through song. See, so we Chelsea does the karaoke for me, and I write the words. I gotcha. And it's very interesting. Nobody's doing that. Nobody. My father did it in the 50s, basically. And there are other guys like Weird Al Yankovic, but that's not what I do. I basically target you and try to destroy you in song with fun.
Sure.
I don't kill you. It's with fun. And there's a routine when I sing one of the songs to my wife, because mostly it's directed at her. At the end of like the song, like the last song I'm going to do, she'll throw a pie in my face. And, everybody's like, oh, my God, but that's what this place is like. What you'll see in the Three Stooges, kind of, but in real life. Wow. And that's what we're doing.
And that's not extra, right?
No, not extra
what's on the menu is great, and that's added on top of it for free.
Yeah. I work in these hard pajamas that I've been wearing since the 70s, and there's a picture on the wall over there in me in 1986 with the same type of pajamas, not the same ones, because they would deteriorate. Yeah. But it's like everybody, you're welcome to wear costumes. You can come in and do anything you want, really. It's just a free-for-all, kind of, in a nice way.
Yeah. So people are looking at that restaurant week, and beyond. Supporting restaurants is important because it employs local folks. It keeps, the lights on for you guys, but also too, it gets them out into their own community, right? And gets to experience something different.
Yeah, we get a lot of New Yorkers in the tourist season, but they know about the place or remember it. What I want to concentrate on is the local people, because you guys took me in, and now I want to take you in. And we'll all be friends. You could eat, you could laugh, and just have a good time. And, you don't have to be stuffy. You don't have to wear a suit. You don't have to worry about, we have very good service. I'm on it, because most of the times Greg is in the kitchen, Chelsea's behind the bar, and it's me and my buddy Jimbo. And the place it's really a shoebox. It's nothing. Yeah. So we're on it, and I go and sit with people. And the one accolade that I get a lot that I appreciate is thank you for the hospitality. We don't get this elsewhere. You're actually sitting with us, not to be annoying. They got to eat. But I go over, they'll ask me a question, I'll tell them a story, and then, on to the next one, so.
Scott Berto with the Crazy Country Club right downtown Holly. You could tell right outside, from the outside to the inside, this place is different. And I thank you for joining us here on Pocono Mountains Podcast. All the best. And we're going to dive in on some of those wings, man. Those look delectable.
Go for it.
All right, Scott, thanks. Crazy Country Club and the Settlers Inn, both perfect spots to sample the broad dining experiences in store for you during Pocono Mountains Restaurant Week. Head to PoconoMountains.com to learn more. Thanks for listening to Pocono Mountains Podcast. We'll have a new episode each week, highlighting lots of the fun things you can experience while you're visiting the Poconos. Subscribe and leave a review and/or comment on whatever platform you listen.
Celebrate our great restaurant scene and our chefs that make it happen during Restaurant Week.
Enjoy.
The Pocono Mountains is the best when it comes to creative food and beverage. Why not try something new? Or sample our international flavors and mountain favorites. These are the most delicious weeks of the year. You just have to know when it is. Visit PoconoMountains.com.
We're back. Thanks for listening to Pocono Mountains Podcast. I'm Jim Hamill. Another one of those restaurants participating is La Posada and Felix's Cantina in Milford. There's a great story of how the folks behind the Mexican cuisine came to create such a special spot right here in the Poconos. And PTN contributor Christina Luna spoke with them a while back for a segment. Enjoy.
When somebody sits down at La Posada and eats a cochinita taco or a pescado frito, they're eating not just what we put forward, but they're eating all the love that my mother and my grandmother and my aunts and uncles have shared with me. And also they're eating part of a heritage that is deeply rooted in love and, quite frankly, happiness. My Uncle Felix, the patriarch of the family, started a Mexican restaurant. La Posada was launched in 1988, and we had 7 good years as a family working in Dingmansbury, Pennsylvania.
So tell us about his story, Felix's story. How did he come to the U.S.? How did he get to Milford?
My Uncle Felix's story by itself is truly a fairy tale. He met my Aunt Carol through a pen pal program that my Aunt Carol had in high school. She had stayed in touch with my Uncle Felix throughout the years. They fell in love, they got married, and they moved to Milford, Pennsylvania. And they were here in the late 60s, early 70s. My family as a whole, we have everything to thank my Uncle Felix and my Aunt Carol for, and that meeting by chance.
Tell us a little bit now. We want to hear about your story.
I came to the United States in 1985. I was 11 years old. It took me about 3 months to learn the language, full immersion. I grew up in Milford. I went to school at a small Catholic school in Port Jervis, New York. I graduated from Delaware Valley High School in 1992. I attended the University of Scranton for 2 years. However, college was not in the cards for me. I was restricted by my immigration status as far as how much aid I could get and how much work I could do. But I got through it. I got married in 1997, and I started in the car business for 22 and a half years. Throughout those 22 and a half years, I always had an inkling or a yearning of getting back into the restaurant business. When I was a teenager, I did not like being in that kitchen. I didn't like being a dishwasher. I learned a lot from my mother because I worked side by side with her. But as a kid, I don't think you truly appreciate what eventually becomes some of the fondest memories that you have. After 22 and a half years in the automotive industry, I decided that it was time for me to move on. I started a small kitchenette in Lehighton in Carbon County, Pennsylvania. And March 15th of 2020, the pandemic hit, it closed everything down. By the grace of God, I had purchased a food truck, which I launched, called Pancho's Mexican Food Truck. And I was extremely busy for 2.5 years. It was incredible. I got the phone call from my uncle Bill Rosado and told me it's time to do this on a bigger scale. He loved what I was doing with the food truck. He obviously wanted the family involved. And then La Posada became my project.
You didn't like it when you were like younger, as you said, but then you transitioned to love it. And how did that happen and who influenced you?
I love food. I love to eat. You learn how to cook because you always want to make food for yourself. I am half Maya Indian, half Spanish. The peninsula of Yucatan is predominantly Mayan Indian. Their food mixed with Spanish traditions and Middle Eastern flavors. And that's what creates the Yucatecan cuisine. When I decided to open up the restaurant and I had the opportunity to open up the restaurant, that's what I wanted to bring forth. I wanted to bring forth a part of Mexico not everybody knows, number one. And number two, I wanted to bring those memories that I hold so dear in my heart onto somebody's table.
People expect from Mexican food tacos, enchiladas, burritos, but I know this is not the case here. Tell us a little bit about the menu.
So the menu reflects Central and Southern Mexican cuisine. We have quite a bit of seafood options on our menu. We have very naturally done vegan options. In addition to that, the flavors, the spices will be different from what people associate Mexican food to be.
Tell us a little bit what people can experience here besides the food.
So as soon as you walk through the doors, once you go through the threshold of the hotel and the restaurant, you'll notice the color appointments, the highlights, the woodwork, bird cages, stools, tile. Everything was done to mimic specific hacienda-appointed architecture from the part of Mexico we're from. It's been said that we don't quite know what the secret to happiness is, but there is no sad people at a Mexican restaurant. We have activities. We have salsa night twice per month. We have live music twice a month also. We have a beautiful patio and outdoor dining space. We overlook the Delaware River, so sitting out there on a beautiful day like today is incredible. Enjoy nature, good coffee, great food, incredibly friendly and knowledgeable staff, and it's an experience that I can truly say there's no other like it in Milford.
Tell us a little bit about how the Milford Hospitality Group has brought and enhanced the experience of being in Milford. What can people expect and experience here?
There's definitely a breath of fresh air that has come with the creativity and the intensity and the youthfulness that Milford Hospitality Group has brought to Milford. We have everything to offer to anybody, to any age group. If you have a family, you can go to Apple Valley. If you want to spend the night away, hanging out with friends, we have the Jive Bar and Lounge. If you want something more upscale with a metropolitan feel to it, we have Bar Louis at Hotel Fauchère. And if you want a great Italian meal with incredibly made pasta and sauces, we have the Tom Quick Inn. We are the youngest of the edition, but as a whole, 200 people that the group employs, all local, they are a force to be reckoned with. And I'm really excited of how they're changing the landscape. And not only that, they're making Milford a drive-to destination in the Poconos.
There are so many things to do and experience, right? Only nature and culturally and fun.
There is a lot of history in town to begin with. Milford is the crib of the conservation movement in the United States. There's a lot of artists, there's a lot of culture in Milford. The outdoor trails, the hiking trails, the biking trails, the rafting, kayaking, fishing, and those are just things that you can do within the town of Milford. As you start driving on the outskirts, the waterfalls are amazing. And I'm proud to call Milford my adopted home. You know, I've been away for some time and I truly miss being in Milford, and I'm really happy to be back again.
La Posada and Felix's Cantina, one of plenty of restaurants you can check out with special menus, discounted items, all for the week of April 7th through the 12th during Pocono Mountains Restaurant Week. Head to our website, PoconoMountains.com, to learn more. We hope you enjoyed Pocono Mountains podcast. Please remember to subscribe anywhere podcasts are available. Come visit us in the Pocono Mountains. Plan your trip today.